The American dream. It's a phrase that's been echoed around the world for generations. The belief that if you work hard, stay determined, and hustle long enough, you'll eventually climb the ladder to success, wealth, and happiness. It's the idea that no matter where you start in life, America is the land of opportunity. But is that still true in 2025? Or has that dream faded into something far less promising? Meanwhile, let's turn the lens to Malaysia, a country that's often overlooked in global conversations but has quietly and steadily offered something many Americans are still chasing: a livable, peaceful, and fulfilling lifestyle. Let's look at the facts. In the US, the cost of living has skyrocketed. Housing, healthcare, education, basic needs that should be accessible to the average person are becoming luxuries. Millions of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Rent in cities like New York, San Francisco, and even Austin has become unaffordable for average workers. A decent apartment can cost you over $3,000 a month, and that's without including utilities or transportation. Compare that with Malaysia. In Kuala Lumpur, you can still rent a modern, fully furnished apartment in the city center for $500 to $800. And outside the city, it's even more affordable. Many Malaysians can afford to own homes before turning 40, something that sounds like a fantasy to the average American millennial. Then there's healthcare. In the US, a single ambulance ride can cost thousands of dollars. A basic emergency room visit could bankrupt you. Even with insurance, copays and deductibles are punishing. Malaysia, on the other hand, has a robust public healthcare system. Government hospitals provide affordable treatment to all citizens and even foreigners. A doctor's consultation might cost just a few dollars, and prescriptions are usually cheap or fully covered. Private hospitals are world-class, yet far more affordable than in the West. Medical tourism is booming in Malaysia because of this. And let's talk about education. In America, student debt has crippled an entire generation. Over 45 million Americans owe a collective $1.7 trillion in student loans. Graduates spend decades repaying debts before they can even think about buying a house or starting a family. In Malaysia, university tuition is heavily subsidized, and many scholarships are available. Even private universities are much cheaper compared to their American counterparts. Malaysians can get quality education without drowning in debt. And increasingly, foreign students are choosing Malaysia for its education system. Now, let's talk safety. While American cities are dealing with rising crime, homelessness, and gun violence, Malaysia remains relatively safe. You can walk alone at night in most areas without fear. Gun violence is virtually non-existent. The country has strict laws, yes, but they've resulted in a more stable and peaceful society. Americans visiting Malaysia are often stunned by how clean, organized, and welcoming the country is. The multicultural society, the religious tolerance, the delicious food, the community spirit, it's all very different from what's often portrayed in Western media. The reality on the ground speaks volumes. Of course, no country is perfect. Malaysia has its own set of challenges: corruption, political instability, bureaucracy, but compared to the increasingly unaffordable and divided American society, Malaysia feels like a breath of fresh air. Work-life balance is another major difference. In the US, the hustle culture is intense. People are praised for working 60 hours a week, skipping vacations, and being constantly busy. Mental health is deteriorating rapidly. Burnout is glorified. In Malaysia, family time, social gatherings, and festivals are a big deal. Life moves a little slower. People eat together, celebrate together, take time for their loved ones. There's a sense of balance. The stress level is simply lower. Even technology and infrastructure are catching up fast. 5G rollout, modern highways, high-speed internet, digital banking. Malaysia is no longer lagging. E-wallets and cashless systems are widely used. Public transportation is improving, especially in cities like Kuala Lumpur. And let's not forget the food. Malaysia has one of the richest food cultures in the world. Street food is everywhere, cheap, delicious, and diverse. Compare that with fast food-heavy American diets, and you'll understand why so many foreigners fall in love with Malaysian cuisine instantly. Culturally, Malaysians are warm, welcoming, and community-oriented. You're greeted with smiles, people offer you food even if you're a stranger, and there's a unique mix of Malay, Chinese, Indian, and indigenous traditions that blend into a beautiful national identity. In contrast, loneliness and isolation are rising in America. People are more connected digitally but increasingly disconnected emotionally. So why are so many Americans shocked when they see real Malaysia? Because they're not expecting this level of development, peace, and quality of life. The media doesn't show this side of Malaysia. It's always about Southeast Asia being developing or less advanced. But those narratives are outdated. In many ways, Malaysia is living the dream that many Americans have lost sight of. Ironically, while Americans chase a dream that's slipping through their fingers, many Malaysians are quietly living a version of that dream already. Affordable homes, healthcare, safety, education, family life, cultural richness, these are not luxuries in Malaysia. They are part of daily life. So what does this all mean? Maybe it's time to reimagine what success and happiness really look like. Maybe the American dream needs a reality check. And maybe it's time for the world to take a closer look at countries like Malaysia, because sometimes, the dream we're chasing is already someone else's reality. If you're watching this from the US or anywhere else in the world, consider this: what do you really value in life? Is it money, career, status? Or is it peace of mind, safety, affordability, and strong community? In Malaysia, people aren't just surviving, they're living. And maybe that's the real dream after all.